My
Dennis, how are you on this lovely evening?
Home run. Home run.
Home run.
Out of the gate. First pitch.
Yeah, baby.
Boom. Out of the park. Whew.
Oof.
Oh, it's great. We spent the weekend at Saugatuck as planned.
Mm-hmm.
Many stories to tell. And getting ready this week
For
my 50th high school reunion.
Oh
50th.
my God. You are so old.
Well, the numbers are dwindling. They cut out the buffet. There weren't enough people to plow through it. They're probably going to serve 5 breakfasts of cereal and some type of soft, gritty type oatmeal-ish.
At your age, you folks need fiber.
Do you have a straw? Can I drink this gruel through a straw? That'd be so much.
Wow. 50 years.
Yeah. I'm spending the night at the hotel of the event.
Oh, yeah.
Where there were 38 rooms set aside at a cheaper rate, which I didn't get because I had gone too late. But it tells me, here's the thing. It tells me, number one, there are 38 people from my class of 92 who are staying at this hotel. That's a third.
It's almost half. Yeah.
Yes, in fact. Number two, I don't have any idea who they are.
Right.
They might be some of the people that I like, but given there were only 5 of them out of 92, I kind of doubt. Number two, I forgot the number.
Yeah.
I'm spending the night, and then the next day, I'm going to hang out at the hotel by the pool all day.
Right.
Which is on Lake Erie and has a nice view and has a bar and whatever.
Good plan.
And that day, Saturday, culminates with an all high school reunion, meaning all classes. Whoever graduated from Cardinal Minzenti High School, Catholic high school.
Right.
Classes of 92, 120, 100, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they closed down. So that is a cash bar at the Elks Club.
Nice.
In downtown Dunkirk, New York, which is one of the iconic buildings and clubs in the entire city. Iconic when I was in high school and wanted to go in there and drink and didn't, and instead drank behind the place in an alley.
Is that where you're gonna hang out during the event? In the alley?
On Saturday. Well.
You should at least check it out to see how much has changed.
Yeah, my spouse of 46 some years will be there with me. I think she'd like to experience that. I say, hey, let's go out back and chug a pint of orange mist and see what happens. She said, all right. I used to do that. I remember all sorts of good things happened after I chugged a pint of orange mist.
Orange mist.
All sorts of good things, as opposed to cherry mist.
That goes without saying.
I don't know this for a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a pineapple mist and a blueberry mist. Things have changed so much since I was in high school.
Well,
but anyway, that's coming up.
You're a mister.
I'm a what?
A mister.
A mist or a cherry mister, as the case may be. I wouldn't be surprised if nowadays there was a pineapple mist and even a blueberry mist. Not so much things have changed.
Didn't you just say that, Grandpa?
What? Play the tape back. I never said it. You made it up.
That's exciting.
I
guess.
That's not the word I would use to describe my feelings.
Interesting?
Anticipatory.
Curious?
Curious, yes. That's a good... That would...
You have curiosities that you want to investigate. So I have one of the many beers that was left over is this local Irish Red.
Oh, yes.
To join you.
The bilingual label, which we communicated about.
Yeah.
Show me the bottle again.
So I showed them to my friends and they said, oh, Irish Red. And I was like, what? And they said, Irish. Because that's in Spanish, you would pronounce all the I's like E. So anyway, that's my...
and they would say what again?
Irish Red. Which
Yiddish.
is a...
Yes. Huh.
Do you know what red means in Spanish?
Flower.
It means network or net. So going on the internet is going on la red, which is interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who knew?
And how do you say red in Spanish?
Rojo.
Rojo. Rojo. I see your eyes in there, rojo. It must be only the Rodriguez.
And you know how you say eyes? Ojo.
Yes.
So, ojo rojo.
Ojo rojo.
Is a red eye.
Rojo.
Oh, like Santa Claus.
Rojo. Mi punta. Well, I too am no surprise. What do I have today? It's covered up by my beach house bar and grill koozie. I went back to my hometown, which I'm going back to again recently. Back in the day, there was a couple of beaches we went to on Lake Erie, and one of them was at Wrights Park. and it was on the south side of town. And if you walk far enough in the water past where there was a beach into the gnarly kind of a slate cliff area where the cliffs were 30, 40 even feet high, there was a cave that was called Devil's Cave. And if you walked out there, you could climb into the cave and realize that you just walked a long way to look at a fucking hole in a rock and then walk back. And it wasn't easy.
The devil plays mean tricks like that.
It was a long way. But up above that cliff area used to be a bathroom, and there still is, and a place where you could sit out of the weather and a little roof on it. I went back, come to find out they took those two buildings, connected them with the roof, added walls, turned the original sitting area into a kitchen.
Hey.
On the new enclosed open area between the two buildings, on the what would be the external wall of the bathroom, now enclosed, they put a bar. And they're serving 34 types of draft beer and just jamming out some real rhythm and blues and some blues music. And it's called the Beach House Bar and Grill. So I went back and said,
It's
whoa,
paradise.
This used to be a bathroom and a little, place to sit. And I was like, yeah. What do you think of it now? Outside, a stage where a band played during the weekends and seating outdoors, indoors. I'm like, give me one of them koozies. They said, well, you're from out of town. You could. How many do you want? You can keep them. There we go.
Somebody thought, let's turn this shitter into a hitter.
The shitter into a hitter. That was a go-getter.
Yeah.
She really tried to move it. And then she found she could groove it.
Exactly.
They're selling beer and wine. They sell it all the time.
And I'll have a
The
bitter.
music gets so loud.
Bitter.
I say, I'm crying out loud.
Nice.
Mystic.
Orange Mystic?
Or cherry mystic. I wouldn't be surprised if nowadays they're selling pineapple mist and even blueberry mist.
I doubt that.
Things have changed so much.
Yes. Speaking of, you know how we talked about Interstellar?
Yes.
Directed by Christopher Nolan. And you're from a town. Have you seen the movie he's made called Dunkirk?
The War of the Battle of the same name?
Yes.
Yes, I have seen it. And in fact, as the city I grew up in, Dunkirk, New York, is in fact the sister city of Dunkirk, France, which I was surprised it was spelled Dunkirk, which is how you spell it in English. But in French, it's Dunqirque, Dunkirk, or something like that.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Now, so the film was already Americanized, and it was a great, more than anything, it was a great rendering of Winston Churchill and the ponderous decisions that he had to make, and the incredible armada that actually, literally, an armada of regular people in boats.
Right.
Who saved the world from extinction into the Third Reich. Astounding, I say.
Just Captain Joe Fisherman doing his part.
Yes.
For the war effort.
And in fact, if I recall, when I was on a fishing boat in Northern California, Oregon, Washington coast, as a matter of course, as I all did my mates on other boats and in my boat, signed up volunteers in the Maritime Union. And that meant we would be called upon, just like they were in Dunkirk, France, in time of war. And for that, I received health benefits.
Did you use them?
Medical and dental. Yes. More often than I care to state. But it was during that time in my life that I discovered that the dentist of my youth, Dr. Fettinger,
had no fucking clue what he was doing.
Tried to sue us. He filled my teeth full of cavities. He filled every cavity I had with silver. But he did not get all the cavities out. So at the age of 21, I had all 17 cavities of my youth erupt into a rotting mass of, oh my God, I need a dentist. Got it all for nothing because I was a member of the Maritime Union.
Nice.
Yes. Just like time back. What happened in Dunkirk, France. I too. I was a part of that in a brotherhood kind of way. Well, before my time, but connected.
Look, thank you for your service.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Aye.
In Spain, they don't eat tamales. What the fuck? I don't know what.
Yeah, you change the lyrics on that every time. I just finished watching an 8-part Amazon Prime miniseries called Utopia. And it is a super mindfuck because, okay, the general premise is like what the trailer shows you is there's some comic book nerds that are really into this one comic book called Dystopia, and they've heard that there's a next edition coming out called Utopia, but no one has found it for 10 years and they don't even know if it exists. And
urban myth.
But they've been looking at every single drawing of Dystopia, and they have formed this conspiracy theory that all of the major viral outbreaks of the past 20 years are depicted with their place and their type of virus and the symptoms in this comic book that's 30 pages long. Really? And so it's one of these things where if you go looking, it's like numerology. If you go looking for, how many Donald Trump has so many letters in it, and also Himmler or whatever, you can find these correlations because the human brain is a pattern matching machine. But anyway, so there's this small group of nerds that think that this comic book means something, and that if they can find another one, they can maybe predict the next one and save lives and stuff. And so they've only ever talked online. They don't know who each other is really. It's just they've talked online. And the opening scene is this young couple is moving into this house that the wife's grandfather died and left to her, and they don't know anything about comic books, and they go in and it's all full of crap, and they stumble upon this comic book called Utopia, which is the one that is supposedly unreleased. And the guy knows enough to know that nerds would pay a lot of money for this. So
it was the original?
Yeah, the original art.
The guy wrote it.
Yeah,
or acquired it.
Right. And so so he thinks fanboys will pay a lot of money for stupid stuff like this. I bet if we announce that we have this thing, people will come. And so they announce it somehow, and they agree to go to this Comic-Con convention. And so this group of people that are like conspiracy theorists about this are like, oh my God, Utopia really exists. We can go and see it. We can make a bid on it, even though we don't have any money because we're basement losers. And so anyway, it starts like that, but it proceeds to be, of course, to make it interesting, their conspiracy is actually true. And this was proposed as a TV series in 2017, and it was going to be directed by David Fincher, who is possibly the best TV director and movie director, but he turned it down for some reason. And anyway, this got made, and they finished the filming. This is important. They finished the filming at the end of 2019. Okay?
Yeah.
And the plot is that there's this evil guy played by John Cusack who plays a pretty good villain. Really, he's the lovable fellow, but he makes a good villain.
He's a tall villain.
And so the plot is this guy has been releasing these viruses, SARS and MERS, and those things are all as part of that. And so that he can create and sell a vaccine to solve this. And this is one thing that my wife has said over the past couple of years is that if COVID was killing children rather than old people, our response would have been very different. And in this scenario, it kills children.
Oh God!
And parents are outraged, and they have this plan, and it comes out so that it turns out we've developed this vaccine, and so they're wanting to distribute this vaccine worldwide and that's the real poison, right?
Oh,
and
shit.
It's fuck, man. You released this they finished filming this in 2019, and they fucking released it in fall 2020. Don't release that in fall 2020. No, bad.
Oof.
And it was just at the beginning of every episode, they're like, this is total fiction. This has nothing to do with anything in the real world. But it's just like, what a fucking coincidence. And there's all of this like sort of anti-vax sentiment, but also like the production and the delivery and the distribution of the vaccine is all so fucking familiar in 2021. Yeah. And it is just wild. It's
8 episodes.
It's a little more violent than I prefer. And in fact, they said that apparently there was a British version, and this is less violent than the British version. But there's a lot of assassination going on. But
as one would imagine.
But it's mostly, almost all the killings are headshots. Pistol to the head, and the person collapses. So it's almost stormtrooper violence. Stormtroopers receive one little laser hit, and then they just fall over. And there's no blood. In here, there's more blood. But it's a really intriguing sort of run. Anyway, I enjoyed it, but it did not get another season purchased.
Oh, it didn't.
Yeah,
Interesting.
imagine that.
Hey, did you see my notice about the HBO series?
The Australian, the end.
Yes.
I didn't.
So
all I saw that it was Australian, and I
Right.
didn't look it
Well-
up to see if it was on my HBO.
So this reminds me of my recommendation of the Scandinavian flick or Scandinavian series. What was it called? Huh?
Beartown.
The other one with the guy in the woods, the gentleman in the woods.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeff?
Him.
Yeah. In that, it's got that same. As you watch it, you want to know what happens with these main characters. You really, it's so interesting, particularly the lead,
The name of that was
Places-
Gusta.
Gusta, the woman who is the premier opening potential suicide. It starts out just to give you a glimpse. Apparently, they show a woman laying in bed, if you think it's a woman, wrapped with her head wrapped in plastic. And as she's laying there with her head wrapped in a plastic bag, they shoot to her living room where she's built a fire, and a log rolls out of the fire into the living room floor and rolls closer to the kitchen where she has also left the gas on. Mm-hmm. And when she starts to realize that these alarms are going off, these fire alarms are going off, she sits up and she pukes inside of the plastic bag.
God.
Rips the bag off her head,
Yeah.
races down the stairs, sees her house on fire, does not want to die in a fire, even though she wants to die, obviously, and goes to a window where she's certainly going to leap to her death before she downs the remainder of a 3/4 empty gin bottle.
Right.
And she jumps out of the window, lands on the ground with a thud, with broken limbs and totally conscious.
Right.
And on
Right when
the
her
way
house
to the-
explodes.
Yes. And on the way to the hospital, she tells the guy who's taking care of her in the ambulance, it says don't resuscitate. And he says, "You're still conscious." And that's the opening.
That sounds.
And
I'm
I was
intrigued.
hooked.
Yes.
I was hooked. And
Okay.
there's
will watch
7
that.
episodes. I've seen 5. And the 7th one is about to air this coming Sunday.
Oh,
So
it's
look
not
at-
totally out
I-
yet. Nice.
No, it's fresh. Now, I got to tell you this. I kept the homework list. Here's the frustrating thing. I would go to HBO and I'd see the 100-foot wave.
Mm-hmm.
The second episode was on at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. Well, I'm not going to stay up. So I went to HBO On Demand,
Right.
and I'll just find it and
Okay.
watch it.
Yep.
The only thing it did was show me when it was going to be aired. Available to watch, only one, to be aired. And I thought, this is fucked up. I'll give it a week and see what happens. Give it a week. Then I say, oh, Sunday, number 3 is up.
Uh-huh.
I go to number 3,
Yep.
browse episodes, 1 available. 3 coming up. I go to search,
Yeah.
and I type in 100 foot, and nothing comes up. And then I realize that it's got a hyphen, which there's no option to enter a hyphen in a search. And I say, well, that's probably it. I'll wait a week. So I go, and then I go 100 foot, and this time it comes up without a hyphen. I don't type in the hyphen, but it comes up on the screen with a hyphen. And I go, and it says available,
One
and it
episode.
gives me episode 3 coming up. And so the others, I tried, bro. I tried. And I can't wait. I'm not going to wait up till 10 o'clock on
The dog ate your homework. That's what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
kind of thing.
That's
But this-
messed up. That it's
I don't
not.
know. I suspect that it's a HBO special signature max.
Yeah,
something.
that's so dumb though. Like
They got layers. What?
it's 2021. Why? I'm okay with an episode coming out at a certain time, premiering at a certain time, but it should be available to stream after that forever.
If you're going to make it hard to watch, we won't watch.
But they already got your money. So,
Well, so it's more than that.
but what it is doing is leaving their customers with frustration that you're
Yes.
voicing now.
Yes,
So-
I am.
and
You are
are-
perceptive in
Should
gathering
take note.
that intel.
Yes. Well,
Thank you for noticing. Thank you for caring.
I appreciate your sentiment and I empathize with your pain.
Okay, so what will you do about it? What are the 3 or 4 steps of what you will do, your commitment to me, to ease my pain? Okay, go. You love lists. Number 1.
I will suggest another thing that you can watch, maybe.
Number 2.
I will hope that thoughts and prayers.
Wait a minute. Hope without a plan is a hallucination. You cannot include a hope in
No,
your plan.
that's not-
No
it's not an
desires,
action item.
no hopes, no dreams. These are not actionable. These are fantasies. or let's say mysteries.
Right. There you go. It's a tough world out there. Do you have Showtime and HBO? Do you have Amazon Prime Video?
Yeah. We went back and forth with this a little bit. So let me tell you my plan. You never heard this before. I'm going to contact the Geek. No, I got a plan.
Okay.
Number one, contact the Geek Squad, where I'm a paid member.
What?
Fix anything IT, I have a problem. Number two, get to know one of them enough to say, I need my own geek. I want a geek. I want you to come to my house and modernize everything. I will buy whatever you tell me to buy. I will allow you to install whatever you want me to install. But I need an IT guy. Will you be my geek? And
You need like your guy that does all the work and finishes before you're ready to give them the next thing to do in your yard.
Yes.
What's his name?
That's right.
Gunter or whatever his name is.
That's Matt the Grunt. Matt
I knew it was
the
related to
Energizer
Grunt.
buddy
Yes.
of the digging hole.
So you need the nerd version of Matt the Grunt. Matt the Geek. Yes.
If you live nearby, this would be you.
I
If you
would
live nearby
do this for
me,
you
this would be you.
in a second.
You'd say what? Again? Okay, come on, let's go ahead and just unplug this. and
Unplug
then
the cables
reboot it,
again, old
plug it
man.
Back in and
Yeah.
count to 13 and just see, there it is. You're good. It's all coming back on. Call me again if you need me, anytime. And then you roll your eyes, jump on your little bicycle, which is probably a three-wheeler,
Right.
and then drive a couple blocks away to wherever you and your family live when you move here. Hey, where are we at? Speaking of plans of action, where are we at
Hopes and dreams.
with the house swapping, Kalamazoo and your town in España? Have you contacted anybody? Have you said, hey, I got a guy, it's near the lakes, it's,
I have not. Have you contacted anyone on your end?
Yes, I have. I talked to my next door neighbor about it,
You've got a
and she said, I'm all in. Let's get rid of both of our houses simultaneous. So you have a woman you've known for a blogger, a common blogger of some kind, who indicated to you
Yes.
when you saw her
Yes.
in down south that, hey,
What's your memory?
she was into this. All you need to do is say, hey, dear, what's her name? Sarah? Dear Edith.
Fuck, you got it right
Priscilla.
the first time. Yeah, you know it's Sarah.
I did.
Weirdly.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That is weird. I got a guy, Kalamazoo, look it up, get back with me.
Yeah.
Bam. I'm going to go to France.
Look, I think a lot of people
friends there.
are going to see the name Kalamazoo and they're going to be like, that's not a real city name. It's like Timbuktu. That's not a real place.
Yeah. Include the iconic Gibson Tower.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Pictures of Bell's Brewery and things that are national and international in scope. Oberon. You get that in Spain, right?
What is that?
Oberon?
Yeah.
A fall beer.
It's okay.
Oktoberfest type beer.
Sounds like a pharmaceutical.
Oberon. Actually,
Check with your doctor if Oberon is right for you.
Oberon is the name of one of the characters in the series The End. Oberon.
Okay.
Very interesting. And
I'm looking forward to the start of the end.
the start of the end. I'm not in the middle of the end. I'm more toward the end of the end. I don't know how many episodes.
You're going to your 50th anniversary for.
Really?
You're pretty close to the end.
Well, yeah. Hey, a shout out to my buddy Butchie. Butchie, get ready for the reunion and massive heart attack. Took him to the other side.
Fucking A.
Butchie Mac was a big dude, man. Football player, real heavy. Loved to drink. And one time in our high school, I think it was our junior year, my parents went out for a night out. They were going to be home really late. So I invited the boys over. And we were playing pool down in my basement with a pool table. And Eddie, Butchie. Where's Butchie? Oh, my God. He had gone into my father's workshop in my basement and taken a gallon of my father's homemade wine and gone into the downstairs bathroom and, without us knowing it, drank almost all of it. Chugged it. Almost a gallon of homemade red wine. And we heard him saying from sitting on the shitter, "Oh, no, I think I drank too much wine." And before the end of the night, when everyone else there realized that in my father's workshop were not only so many gallons of wine, but so many that they couldn't possibly be noticed as some of them being partly empty, it went out of control. Everyone was drinking the wine, including me, I must say. And the image that stays with me, as my parents were apparently literally blocks away, was Tom from my class, who I'll see soon, on his knees in the front yard puking, as our friend Mike was there with a baseball bat making him puke. And
Hitting him over the head, or
just threatening him. Yes. Okay. Get it out of your system. Get it out of your system. And all people writhing. And when I looked at the time and realized in the next 10 minutes, everything was cleaned up. Everyone was gone or hidden somewhere on the property.
Right.
And my parents pulled in. And I heard them as I was laying in bed awake and worried to death. I heard my mother say, "Oh my God, what's that smell?" And that's my Butchie Mac story, which I hope to be able to tell at the reunion if given the opportunity.
So I just did the math, and a gallon of wine is 5 bottles. So
he didn't completely drain it. He didn't completely drain it.
Clearly, there must have been some spillage.
Four bottles gone, but he was a big boy. He ran 250 pounds or so when he was in high school. So that means that, and plus he was a notorious and a much experienced drinker, which I don't know.
Be related to his demise.
Yeah, there might be a connection there.
Just saying. Maybe. Wow. So we have some correspondence to go through, not from our listeners because they're lazy motherfuckers, but you sent a Guinness World Record to me that is pretty astounding. It's not nearly as gross as the fingernails or the eyelashes, but apparently there is this gifted,
well put. I
don't think, I mean, an outlier.
There's no other, there's no other way to say it, but
we don't want,
gifted is a little bit more generous than an outlier, but go ahead.
In earlier less woke times, they might have used the word freak, but she's a unique individual that she discovered. She must have always known this, that she was a little different than other people, but she discovered that she has an enormous mouth. And she figured this out because she was just like making silly TikTok videos and making funny faces with this enormous mouth,
and was looking in the mirror.
But I think she knew that she had a larger mouth, but it wasn't until she started showing the world her mouth and everyone was like, "Oh my God," that she realized that, I have something here. And good on her. She's managed to like monetize this as like a YouTube channel, because it's, if you have exceptionally large hands, then these days you can actually make money doing videos where you like see if you can palm a watermelon or whatever. But she does these videos where she tries to fit things into her mouth, that
including but not limited to.
Are you waiting for me to finish this?
Yes.
French fries and hamburgers and apples and oranges and I don't know.
The Guinness Book of World Records is for specifically being able to put in her mouth in one fell swoop an entire large order of French fries from McDonald's. It was quite specific.
That is such a stupid unit of measurement.
Oh, are you kidding me? That's like the gold standard.
Although, because of the ubiquity of McDonald's, I think everywhere around the world, they know what that size
is. Just because you can't do it. You feel that way because you can't do it. You can't even do a small order of fries in that little pile you call a mouth, a poor excuse.
Man, my dentists complain all the time. They're like, "Man, you have a tiny little mouth."
Right. Fit the mirror in there. Couldn't even fit the little mirror in there.
Right.
They just had to pry it open with a couple of those hemostats.
Poking in the dark.
Clip it open. Clip the upper lip to your eyebrow, the lower lip to your nipple. And that was the only way they could get in your trap.
Yes. Those dental nipple clips are painful.
We could make money off these. I told you before. And the eyebrow clip, same.
That's not quite as painful as the nipple clip, but...
And therefore, not as attractive. I think you'll agree.
Yes. But I remember having a Guinness Book of World Records back when it was a book, and there being photos.
Book, right.
Yeah, a Guinness Book of World Records. And I remember there being photos of people, and again, this was probably back in the late 80s, of people winning the record for smoking the most cigarettes.
Yeah.
Having 50 cigarettes out of their mouths and lighting them all.
An award which they gave posthumously. Posthumous. Posthumous. An octopus, hippopotamus, posthumous.
Indeed. And Of course, that is not so encouraged.
So when I was a boy, the Guinness Book of World Records that I read
there were like 4 records back when you were a boy.
was a cartoon series that came out once a week in the newspaper and showed several cartoon versions of records that had been broken. And,
was this back when they were competing heavily with Ripley's? Or was that later?
No, about the same time. Ripley's Believe It or Not was a cartoon series as well.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and I was always, when I was a kid, I always used to send in these "Can you draw" contests, which I thought at the time were really contests, and they weren't just an invitation to send them $25 to take a class. Did it all the time, and I was amazed. I was always rewarded with an opportunity.
Wait. You would send 25 is way too much. You would send your
or $5.99.
You would send your drawing in with $2, and
no money. I would send it in with no money,
right?
And they would write me back, and they would say, "Congratulations, you've won, and you now have an opportunity to take our class, which you can do for $5.99,
right,
or whatever."
That's a clever advertising campaign. You bounce because once the mark, for lack of a better word, thinks that they've been chosen for their specialty, that's got to be you're got a much better conversion rate for those people than if you had just put an ad out for, hey, here's an art class.
Yes, I felt the same way, and constantly.
Are you drawing one of your drawings right now?
I am, of you. Here you are.
Hey, that is me. You'll have to take a photo of that. We can post that in the show notes.
I forgot to finish the chin. Sorry.
There you go. We will take a photo of that and send it to me.
Okay.
That may or may not be in the show notes if Dennis is responsible.
I got to finish the headphones.
That'll be happy hour.
And there's a cord coming out of one. Yes. And I think I got your beady little eyes pretty good. Beady little eyes. And I wonder if I can figure out how to put a shine on your forehead. Yes, there it is.
Right.
I put a shine on your expansive forehead. Where the prosthetic ankle used to be.
Draw me like one of your French
listeners
girls.
knew that it had been removed.
Well, yeah. That modern medicine is pretty impressive.
And the nariest scar can be seen.
No, you got to look really close to see the proboscis scar.
That 2 by 3 inch scab you have there is a little bit noticeable, but if you leave it alone, it won't scar.
Yeah.
It won't turn it into a brilliant white translucent scar.
If only I could leave it alone.
That is so gross. Oh God, I can't believe I said that. Hey, so you sent me.
Oh, and the video of this woman with big mouth will be in the show notes at happyhour.fm/121.
121. You sent me a thing about Trumpers. Like, who were the champions? Where are they now? Are they okay? And it's a 30-minute clip, which I only had 24 minutes. So I skipped ahead a little bit, but I luckily landed on what I think is the highlight, just to share it with you, which is Scott Baio at the Republican convention. And then November some other 20th, whatever, when he recorded his show with his wife Renee, and it was loud,
that was so good.
Loud, funny.
Hey, I'm trying to record this.
He could
this video.
not oh God, it was funny.
This was made in collaboration with Vice Media, but also with that's the channel it was published on. But it was made in collaboration with this YouTuber named Vic Berger, and he does these trippy as shit videos where he like zooms in on people's faces with his video clip and cuts them off in weird times and plays this weird music. This was a very introduction to Vic Berger video. This was not nearly as trippy as the rest of his work, and the rest of his work is a little too bizarro for me. But he's just very creative in linking these publicly available clips together in a thick and dark way.
I was amazed at the appearance of this Dilbert, who I had no idea who he was or what his politics were, let alone that he's a trained hypnotist. And they show him in his relationship with Trump and how he was left high and dry. And it was so bizarre. I wondered for a minute, I said, what is this? Is going to come back to Trump? It was very strange.
He was because everyone loves Dilbert, And it's if Gary Larson or Charles Schultz came out with really bizarro politics, you'd be like, man, I like your work, but this is super weird. And yeah, he was a
Charles
huge
Schultz returning from the dead.
Yes,
returning from the dead to espouse his political views would be particularly
of course
cool. Huh?
What?
Can you make that happen? Hey, if we join hands remotely,
Roast
wish
some peanuts and sing. Yeah,
Schroeder.
Yes.
Let's bring Schroeder back. Wow, that's how I learned to love the piano. Right there.
Well, there you go.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a super bizarre video, and obviously that will be in the show notes too. I recommend.
So, what was your favorite part of it?
I really appreciated Alex Jones being so just tired of Trump. He wishes he never met Trump. He wishes he never promoted Trump.
Which he did.
Despite him being such a huge force in making Trump what he was.
Yep.
And also just and for sure you could make a video like this on the other side from 2016, where you've got all the media people saying this is for sure Hillary is going to win. There's no way this is not going to be. You could totally make this video and then show the same people being as distraught, because we all were, as these people in this video, being like, what has happened to this country? How could this be that people are so stupid that they would vote this way? And that's the feeling that was shown with many of these people, was they were like, because we're all in our little bubbles, we can't imagine that there's 50% that think the other way. And that happens to both sides, where it's just how was this even close?
And it's I love the opening of showing the implosion of the Trump Tower in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And I knew when they slow-moed the implosion and then the smoke wafting away and then the pile of debris that I needed to settle back. I had no idea when I opened it how long.
Right, what it was going to be. Yeah.
And I sat here at 4:04. Gave myself that 26 minutes. I mowed the front lawn in a record 10 minutes.
Hey, so congratulations.
You
deserve a medal for that? Or
previous record was 12. Bragging rights with my neighbor. My neighbor was pushing his lawnmower down our shared driveway. I was right behind him. He stopped. He said, "Oh, you too, huh?" I said, "I bet you I get done quicker than you. 10 minutes. He said, "Oh, mine's only about 10 or 15. And I went to town. 10 minutes later, I'm done. He's still mowing.
Should we call Guinness? Or the Olympics or something?
I wished I'd had a Guinness, but instead I smelled for what I hoped was a Smittix, but instead it was a fat tire, which is what I have.
Does the fat tire make the mower roll faster?
So we need to review things. I fooled you. You thought it was stuck. It wasn't stuck. I just froze my face and my sound on camera, and you looked all IT concerned. It's like, oh shit, bad connection again, like 2 weeks ago. When it was disturbing.
Yes.
Disturbing. A producer's nightmare.
You are very disturbing. And a producer's nightmare.
Hey, did you get my communication about the interview?
Interview.
Yeah, you did get it. You did get it because she said, who gives a fuck about your grade point average?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I thought that was funny.
So
right,
you got turned down because you sent this beautiful resume, and for some reason your resume has your fucking grade point average from 50 fucking years ago. And as if that matters to anyone compared to your life's work. Like like I don't even at the stage of my career that I'm in, people don't even care about having a degree, let alone what your grades were in college and or high school. Who cares?
Which still though is standard stuff in a resume. Still.
It's standard, but it's not. It's not necessary.
No.
There are so many super, super successful people that were shitty students.
Oh yes.
All of these billionaire high school dropouts, to mention.
I have two final things to share with you. Number one.
Two final things.
I am looking forward to next week's episode. And number two, I have to piss so bad that it's like a wounded moose. Right?
Yes, pissing like my friends in high school used to say I have to piss like a racehorse.
Yeah, right.
It's very visual.
Yeah, that's a fantasy.
But pissing like a wounded moose.
What? I have to piss like a bird. What?
Well, then just hold it in, man.
Oh, God. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Now, tonight, I won't leave you high and dry with the cutoff.
Yes.
I promise.
You've heard that. I've heard.
I think that's pretty funny. I've been doing that for, 6 weeks in a row? I thought that's pretty hilarious. You seem flummoxed every time I do it.
I'm so flummoxed.
You
You're a flummoxer.
Flummoxer.
You're a producer flummoxer.
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 Yeah. Arrojo. Ajo.
Ajo. Do you know what ajo is?
No.
Ajo is garlic.
Aha. And enjoy your Rodriguez.
I will. Okay, that's it for episode number 121. You can find the show notes, as always, at happyhour.fm/121, where you can find the links to all the videos that we talked about, the lady with the big mouth, and you can help support us at patreon.com/happyhour. We would love for your support. Buy us a big order of French fries. And we'll see you next week.